Greetings to you wherever you are. I hope you're hearing me loud and clear. I would like to get your response. Let me know if the audio is good and let me know if you're seeing me quite clearly. Okay? Today we want to discuss a very important topic and I will definitely encourage your participation. Feel free to comment, okay, and let us have a lively discussion. Want to make this one very interactive. So your comments are very much welcome. So go ahead and comment as I share with you concerning this very important topic. Okay, I see one person is already on the live. I'm just waiting for others to join the live because I don't want you to miss anything from this live. Okay, I want to give you all of the information that you need and to help equip you concerning how to play this game that we call life. Okay, because it's a game. Okay, but very few people understand the game and very few people knows how to play the game. That's why many people they get played by the game. Okay, and that's why I'm gonna discuss certain things with you and show you how you can escape this matrix and you can live life on your own terms. You can write your own check, okay? Because you understand how to play the game of a life. And that is why I'm gonna speak to you concerning Abdullah, Neville Goddard, Brian Scott, and the Rosicruian order, okay, which is a secret brotherhood, a secret society. And so the reason why I'm actually doing this live on this particular topic is because yesterday when I went on my daily walking, I normally walk in the morning and then I walk in the evening also. So while I was on my walk, I happened to stumble on a video. Just as I turn on my phone and look, I see a video there with Brian Scott. And this was the topic of the video. It says the man who created Neville Goddard. Abdullah, the man who created Neville Goddard. And there was a portrait, a picture there of a black man. Okay. And I really would like the listeners to check for themselves before they delete remove this video from Brian Scott's channel. Because this video alone proves everything that I've been saying about Neville Goddard and his secret brotherhood and the lies that they've been cooking up together. This video of Brian Scott is like the icing on the cake. And that is why I've been telling you folks who have been listening to me that I have them cornered with their lies and with the Neville Goddard agenda and the many YouTubers and influencers on the internet who build their foundation and the teaching and philosophy of Neville Goddard. And I'm not here to criticize the philosophy. I'm not here to pull down the philosophy. I'm not here to correct the philosophy, okay? Because that philosophy is what I teach as the inner sun science and technology. That philosophy is what our ancestors would have known from since the dawn of time. That philosophy is what our ancestors left in a language of symbology through our spiritual system. Like for example, in my country, what is known as Shakerism starts in this country that I live. Okay, and it went through the other Caribbean islands. What they call refer to as the spiritual Baptist, which is basically Shakerism, which is basically a yoga system that has been set up for only the initiates to know. And so even those who are practicing it doesn't know what it's all about. And the oppressors and colonizers who colonized the islands, they persecuted them for this practice because they couldn't understand the practice and what it was all about. So what they did, they interject Jesus and Bible into it, but still can't stop the system. That is why the former prime minister of this country, who's actually a European, if you check his bloodline, okay, and his ancestry, okay, he gave them a public holiday in this month of May. I think it's the 21st or something like that. Okay. And it is because of the people ignorance and they do not understand. And they embrace it, the holiday, but do not know the reason why they were persecuted. Yet they are speaking about Jesus and using Bible in the practice. But common sense will teach you that no one in the entire Caribbean has ever been persecuted for believing in what the Europeans give them as their spiritual guidance to guide them, which is secular Christianity. No one have ever been persecuted for that. So if you put two and two together, you would realize that they give them a holiday base and a line of deception that they embrace. Okay? And so, my brother and my sisters, you have to understand what is going on with the Neville Goddard agenda and the internet and why people like Brian Scott and so on, they're going to come out and try to defend it. And by trying to defend Neville Goddard's legacy, they're going to vindicate and authenticate my ministry and my work on the internet and why YouTube shadow ban me when I start to expose the whole Neville Goddard lie. Okay? So when you listen to this video, you'll hear that Brian Scott is saying that Neville Goddard used to lecture for the Rosicrucians. Then you will hear him also say that Neville met Abdullah in a Rosicrucian lecture, which goes back to me saying that if this man that they claim to be Abdullah and claim to be a black man, if it is true and it is not a make-up story, then they are giving you a black man who sell out himself and sell out his own people and join something that came from your own oppressors who want to oppress you and keep in a perpetual state of mental slavery. Just like how they right now they're giving the wall I show speed. But I show speed cannot say as fast as he think he is and as much as young people look up to him, he cannot say free Palestine. He can't say that. The things he can't say. He's not at liberty to say certain things. When you're own, you can't say certain things. Okay? So all who look up to I show speed and one of the biggest welcome that he got is in my country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You go check it out for yourself. It's like a carnival. You understand? That's how the people been influenced. Okay? So they always ought to give you someone to influence you that wouldn't bring any kind of substance to help you to grow and expand in your consciousness and in your awareness. They all want to be the star in the movie. Yeah, they want you to be the star in the movie. They have to always play the part of being the star in the movie. And so when you listen to Brian Scott, okay, on the video, which is 1 day ago, that says that the man who created Neville Goddard and he says this Abdullah and trying to say, oh, Abdullah was a living man. He went on to say that there are people who trying to say that Abdullah wasn't a living man. I'm one of the person who I know who is saying that is a make-up story. And he was saying that there are people who saying it's a make-up story. Okay, and then there's a guy named Mitch Horowitz that wrote and say that Abdullah was actually this guy Ford. Trying to remember the first name. Okay, for this guy Ford. Okay, and he was saying this guy Ford is basically Abdullah, and then Brian Scott come back and refute that and say it is not this guy Ford who is Abdullah, and how this guy Ford was a part of the Masons and so on. And so in this video, Brian Scott is speaking a lot about a lot of a secret society and so on and all of that, and try to prove to you that Abdullah did exist and giving you all kind of history, okay, to prove that this black man did exist. Well, the reason why it's very important, okay, for me to really highlight a lot on this is because of this book right here. Let me get this book here for you. Okay, this book that I would have written, okay, that's most hated by a lot of Caucasian people. And if you go and you check the review on it, you'll see they are the ones who will try to give it a 1 and give it a 2 rating. And they will say, oh, this man was on low vibration. Well, if they are on high vibration and they can have a conversation about their behavior and their awareness and consciousness have been shown to all to see through slavery, segregation, apartheid system and all of these things, and the system that they set up to continue to keep the people in a state of mental slavery. Okay? If they're gonna say I'm on low vibration for this book, okay? The Black Mystic from Ethiopia, Neville Goddard mentor. Okay, where I'm using reverse psychology in them, okay? And using this book to help our people to understand what is going on. Okay, if they're claiming that I'm low vibration, then the people who they're claiming to be on high vibration is the people that they could use. Okay, is the people that they could influence, is the people that they could buy. It is the people who they could make a deal to give all 15 million subscribers on YouTube, like what they did with Aisha Speed and many others. Okay, to fastly influence the young people who looks just like him. Cannot offer anything to them, cannot even speak on the behalf of a people being persecuted and their land being stolen, okay, from them and so on. Okay, yet young people looking up to him, screaming down the place, getting all excited and so on. Okay, so my brother, my sisters, anyone who read this book will understand where I'm coming from. The Black Mystic from Ethiopia, Neville Goddard mentor. And in this book, I'm basically marking them. Okay, so when they come and they say it was a living man, okay, and was a truly a historical man that existed, they're going to tie themselves up. And when they come back around, they can't escape now to come back around to say, well, no, it's a make-up story that Neville make up. And all the years, Brian Scott been doing videos, Iolaka Jr. been doing videos. There's so much of them. David Bear, Wayne Dyer, my man who died, Bob Proctor, Joe Dispenza. People only hearing Joe Dispenza. Now when Joe Dispenza started, it was based on Neville too, you know. Don't make it tricky with no neuroscience and brain waves and this and all of these things. No, you know. And Heart Math Institute, it was a Neville too. Okay. How is it they were never speaking about his involvement in the Rosicrucian order until I start to expose it and start to bring it up and show you that his family have the biggest business in my country? How is it now that Brian Scott and these people are coming now and telling you that he was a part of the Rosicrucian? He used to lecture. They're afraid to say that he was a part of the Rosicrucian order. They're afraid to say that he was a part of a secret brotherhood. They're afraid to say that. Okay? So not until I came to the internet and I started to expose that and started to show the people who running the biggest business in my country, okay, and start to show the ruling class in our country and why it is so and why the pattern run throughout the islands, throughout the Windward Islands, throughout the OECS Islands is a pattern. Okay? And how these parasites, they are parasites. That's who they are. How they continue to suck from the people and the people do not understand what is going on. Now they're coming out now. They're coming out now and they're trying to say certain things to cover themselves. And they will continue to do that. So I want you to go and check out that video before they remove it off the internet. Because I tell you, I have them cornered. I have them cornered. Because what they're against, you know, is an awakened, enlightened man like myself who they cannot buy. Okay, they could buy I show speed. I show you speed. They could buy he out. He been bought and sold. Okay, he been given to the entire Caribbean and to the world as a puppet. I know he is a puppet. Okay, so people who get caught up with fame and popularity and so on, these people can only give you those things, but they cannot give you a spiritual order that comes from your ancestor. They cannot hook you up to an intelligence that is divine, an intelligence of a super highway that will give you ideas upon ideas upon ideas upon ideas, that you can have 100 businesses and you do not have to be around any one of them. That's why they tie up our people having 3 and 4 jobs, and they never understand the system of income, because they never understand incoming thoughts and outgoing thoughts. They never understand how the mind works. That's why they call them monkey, which is an unorganized mind. So when they could take an unorganized mind that cannot give nothing to raise up the consciousness of his people, they will give you I show you speed. Because why? Our people love entertainment and they like to be entertained, but they do not like to be educated. And when I speak about educated, I'm speaking about one who can draw out from his experience and use his experience to educate others. That's the kind of education I'm talking about. I'm not talking about academic education, because the academic education system is set up by the same people who want to enslave you, but they can't enslave me. So, my brother, my sisters, yes, when you listen to what Brian Scott is saying, and he's even refuting Mitchellowitz, who was saying that this man was Josiah Ford, the man Abdullah was Josiah Ford. Okay, it is telling you that they're doing everything in their power to try to cover the lie that Neville spoke, because they do not want you to know what the secret brotherhood is really all about, and how they're only giving your kind a little metaphysical teaching to still keep them believing that there's some elite among you. So they might be able to get a certain job. They might be able to get a little favor. They might be able to be on the credit union board. You understand? They might be able to get on the board of some governmental foundation or system that's set up. That if you chase it back, you're gonna go back to those same people. Okay? That's why they have all kind of things set up, like WHO and all of these kind of things. And when you go in school, when you went to school, they teach you the abbreviation of all of these things. Little do you know, these are systems that have been set up to control your mind, so you don't really think for yourself. Okay, so my brother, my sisters, this whole story about Abdullah, which I show you in this book, the black mystic from Ethiopia, go and get it. The black mystic from Ethiopia, Neville Goddard mentor, where I use reverse psychology in that book and show you how to use reverse psychology and show you if this man Abdullah did exist, okay, what he was saying in symbology to us. Okay, all when he slammed the door in Neville Goddard's face, slamming the door in the face of a white man. And it's not a coincidence that Neville Goddard family running the biggest business in my country, and their birthplace is in Barbados. And go and check out the newspaper in Barbados with the topic that says the death of Richard Goddard, and read it for yourself. Go and find the article. I think it's in the Barbados Nation newspaper or something, right? But I have it on this channel under a video that I did, where I did a vlog with Neville Goddard, and I put the link on there of the newspaper where Richard Goddard was talking about how they were forfeited from certain amount of slaves and lands. And you will realize how these people end up having lands, and how certain people have the most lands in certain Caribbean islands. Like, for example, in my island where I'm living here, where I born and grew up, it is the Punnets that have the most lands, and they are white people. And they've been here all since in my grandmother time. My grandmother used to tell us about these people because my grandmother used to work with them years ago at a place named Bayaha, which a white man that he used to rent that place called Petty Bayaha. And not until the FBI came here and captured that man, we knew that that man was the most wanted in America. The man used to come, when I used to work by the post office, the man used to come by the post office to collect mails, everything. And it's a secluded island, Bayaha. And we used to go through Bayaha, okay? We used to go hunt iguanas, hunt manikou, which is opossum. Okay, we used to go hunt all of those things, and there's a lot of fruit trees there, and so on. You know, and our grandmother used to tell us a lot of story about when they used to walk around there with the punnets and so on. Okay, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. So these people been here from ever since. Okay, they chase way back to the plantation and so on. That is why right now where they have the Sanders Hotel, that used to be a plantation that owned by the Punnets. Okay, so when I speak about Neville Goddard and I tell you this thing about Abdullah, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, and if you're a melanated person, understand the philosophy, okay, of Neville Goddard and look around, okay, and you will see it in symbology among our people through the spiritual system, and you would realize that now through neuroscience and so on, these people are now discovering these things that was set up long time by our ancestors through symbology. That's why I tell you, if you understand Shakerism from my country, okay, which people by country, they will hate me. I think I'm stupid and I'm crazy to say I'm the only person in this entire island that knows anything concerning the spiritual Baptist. And they have all kind of high priests, this, that, and they're all liars and actors. You understand? They don't know what the hell they're doing. And they cannot tell you why they were persecuted. Okay? So my brother and my sisters, I'm not trying to refute that imagination creates reality that Neville spoke about. I'm here to tell you that when Neville talk about he received the promise, but Abdullah never received the promise, it's a damn lie and a game. He's playing on you and a parody, and he's playing, okay, with the mind of melanated people, okay, because the same promise he say he received, okay, I received that and more, because I go even much more deep and show you certain things that he never even speak about, okay. So how is it, okay, that he could turn around and have the audacity to say that in a dream he was told that he's God, because he said the voice spoke. And the boy says, and God walk with them. And the woman at his side said, and if God walk with them, where is he? And he said, at thy side. And the man look at him and laugh and he said, you mean to say Neville is God in the act of, and he said, yes, in the act of awakening. So who am I in the act of awakening? So basically, how is it I can have the same kind of experience, okay? And my son appeared to me, and my son is not a Caucasian boy, not a boy blue eyes and blonde hair. And how could you give me a blue eye and blonde hair boy to say that is my savior and my Lord and my master or some Jewish man? Okay? In so much that they make you saying that they are the chosen and you're afraid to say free Palestine. And why would they want to shadow ban you? Okay? And why would they want to censor you and social media? Okay? While they have I show speed and giving him so much views and so much subscribers, okay, and you're telling me he haven't done something, he didn't have to do something, he didn't have to sell something, you're telling me they're doing all of that, and there's a white woman from England who normally told the Caribbean and so on, and she started to talk about how Caribbean people racist. Okay, I didn't see the video for myself. My girl was telling me that. Some girl named Zoe, okay, from England, and saying if it was a white man, they wouldn't have been treating him the way they was treating the I show speed and all of that, and they would have said white privilege. You see the trick. They're using these kind of guys. They're young, okay. They want fame, they want popularity, they want money, they want all of these things, and they're using them because social media is a new platform to carry out what secret society and all the other system that they set up along with secular Christianity and so on can't do, because why? The masses is waking up and realizing all the bullshit, all the propaganda they used to use and these news media when there was only television and so on to brainwash the people. How America been using that propaganda system for so many years to put up government, bring down government, do all of these things. But now people's eyes have been opened through social media. So they have to use the same social media to destroy the minds of the youth. So if Neville Goddard ain't work, they're going to use I show speed, they're going to use this, they're going to use that. They use your own image and your own likeness to chop you because they understand how you think. They know you love to be entertained. They know that anyone look like you, you're going to trust them and you're going to embrace them. That is why all the islands in the Caribbean that I show speed went to, all they giving a bunch of food and music and this and that, and trying to promote and thinking that tourism, okay, is the way to go to earn a living. Common sense will teach you that everything is based on sowing and reaping. So agriculture has always been the most ancient. And if you take agriculture and from nature, and you look at nature, and you look at the mind, and you understand the human psyche, you see the same sowing and reaping. That's why they talk about manifesting and how imagination creates reality. All of that is basic agriculture, sowing and reaping. And then you understand it on a spiritual level and see how they are reaping from you, your spiritual, from you in the spirit realm, when they control your psychological behavior. In other words, when they influence the way how you think. So everything is taking place on 3 levels. The physical and the non-physical. Okay, which is basically the physical, the psychological, and the spiritual. So the psychological and the spiritual, they are non-physical. And so everything is created for us in the non-physical world. Okay, which is basically the wall of your psyche. And in the wall of your psyche, your brain is a transmitter and a receiver of frequency. And so you being a vibratory being, okay, whatever frequency you vibrate on, that will give you a manifestation, a conversation that you might call your personality. Okay, it gives you the result. Because this world is like a mirror. It is always a showing forth, a reflection. It's reflecting to you yourself. So your non-physical self is reflecting to you in this physical 3-dimensional world. So those who can influence your thinking, okay, can easily influence you and control you. That's why they set up the school system and they have never changed the curriculum. They have never changed the syllabus. It's the same old school system where they have you sing, the children singing that old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And that E-I-E-I-O in Roman numerals is 666. And if you take that 666, is a 1 and an 8, which is 9. And so if you do not understand the power of 9, and you do not understand that 9 is the highest number, you will realize that you have to vibrate to the 9 power to be fully enlightened. And when you're fully enlightened, your IQ has gone to another level. And when your IQ is on a higher level, you see things from a different angle. Okay? So most of our people have been vibrating on a very low IQ level because of what have been downloaded in the DNA. So through epigenetics, something been passed on from family to family. Okay, and that's why, for example, if you come from a family whereby your mother and your father, they used to just, all they know is a 9-to-5 job. They're gonna teach you also to go into that 9-to-5 job. If your mother and your father, if they were say lawyers, they might want, like for example in my country, most of the parents who are lawyers, they're teaching their children to be lawyers. Most who doctors, they're teaching their children to be doctors. So basically, the poor is always teaching their children to be poor. The middle class teaching their children to be middle class, and the rich teaching their children to be rich. So when I look at these pattern, and as I said, Neville Goddard family, okay, for 100 years now, they've been running the biggest business in my country. For 100 years, they've been celebrating 100 years. About 2 to 3 years ago, they celebrated 100 years. So it's about 103 years, okay? And so when they were trying to tell you it was a black man who created this Neville Goddard character, because it's just a character, and this Neville Goddard agenda that they're using on the internet, it's a damn lie. They just do not want you to know what is hidden in these secret societies and these secret brotherhood. And you, as a melanated person, they don't want you to know that this horse slave continue through these secret brotherhood. Those are the horse slaves. That's why whenever you speak about the atrocities that was done through slavery, I always tell you that it was your own people who look like you that was selling you. But it not was, because there is no such a thing as was. There is only is, because there's only now. You could say yes. You could only say yesterday in the now. You could only say tomorrow in the now. There's only now. So the horse slave has always been here. Okay, that's why they created secret societies. So those in the secret societies, these are the ones who are selling you. That's why most of the time you find them in certain profession. They might be a politician, they might be a doctor, they might be a dentist, they might be a lawyer. Okay, and these are the people that you would look up to, and you think that they're in a better position than you, financially speaking. But when you understand the science of your mind, when you understand energy, vibration, and frequency, when you look at nature and you allow nature to become your teacher, no one in this world could stop you from bringing forth as nature bringeth forth. That's why I've been teaching the inner sun science and technology to create your reality consciously. And I would encourage people to go and check it out. It's just for people who are donating $20 or more. Okay, you can go and you can get all of the videos that I've done concerning the inner sun science and technology, because everything is taking place inwardly and it be reflected outwardly. That's why they give you secular Christianity. I speaking to you right now, the churches are filled with a bunch of what? Monkeys. They are monkeys. Unorganized mind. Okay? And so they believe some man lives in the sky, and they believe some man gonna come from the Middle East, the so-called Middle East, was all of that was Africa, okay? And they capture, they plunder, okay? They rape, they kill. They do all of these things and steal all of these lands and tell you that there was a holy man 2,000 years ago that walked those lands with blonde hair and blue eyes, and that this man was a Jewish man, and you must believe in a Jewish religion and leave the religion of your ancestors, which is basically that of nature, the closeness to nature, they love nature, they embrace nature, and they understand that nature is speaking a language in silence. Don't ever join anything that they started, because they're not original. Don't let them fool you. They're not more intelligent than you either. So Brian Scott and this video concerning the man who created Neville Goddard, it's a damn lie. Okay, and he's trying to say, oh, there was a man who existed, a black man who existed named Abdullah. Then you have to give specific reason why Abdullah would have done what he would have done with Neville. And then hear this. I want you all to get this. He had the audacity to speak about what Neville said, that Abdullah said to him. We were 1,000 years ago, we were in China as philosophers, and we agreed to forget. Well, if these two people were philosophers 1,000 years ago, and you read the book of Mind Science, which is the Bible, and you read about the 1,000-year rule and so on, and you read about the 1,001 being in chains down in hell, then you have to come to say that these two entities here are these two states of consciousness. One is reflecting God and one is reflecting the devil. One is reflecting a creative, innovative life, and one is reflecting a destructive life. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Bro, when you really dig deep into these things and you listen to people like Brian Scott talking about the man who created Neville Goddard, and you take the things that I'm saying and the proof that I've shown to you with all of the businesses that they own in my country and in the other Caribbean islands, and how they end up in Barbados, okay, and who they were in Barbados, and so on, and why they took this man took Neville and the wings in England first of all, and why he normally talk about this man I'm trying to remember his name, William something, the man who we say wrote about Jerusalem. I'm trying to remember his name. Okay, why you always talk about that man too? Okay, and then you come up with the character Abdullah, and then they tell you that how this Abdullah was a Jew. So tell me how you gonna end up with black Jew, and you have this pale skin Jew at the same time. Explain that to me. Make that make sense. Oh, William Blake. William Blake is the name I was trying to remember. And Neville was talking about William Blake. And say how Abdullah was speaking in Jewish language and so on. And in your book Kabbalah and so on. No. They who have access to the Kabbalah in the book form, hide it from you who have it in your physiology, who have it in your biology, who have that tree of life. And if you put your hands on your hip, you get the symbol on the Israeli flag, what they call the Star David. I remember when I explained it to a pastor who was sick, and since I was a little boy, he said that greatness is in me, he could see it. And he said he can't preach unless he see me in church. That time I was a little boy. I went to see him before he died. And when I told him this thing about Jesus is a lie, and it's about enslaving our people and so on, he asked me a question. He said to me afterwards, trying to answer the question by just putting my hands on my hip, I said, this is the Star David right here. Okay? It's the statue of a perfect man, an upright man. You understand what I'm saying? It all represent a man, an intelligent, enlightened man and so on. He didn't question that, and he didn't disagree with that. He told me all his life he wanted an answer to that, and I brought the answer. But yet, he couldn't accept the fact that all his life he was believing and teaching a lie. Okay? So, my brother and my sisters, it is because we are in a spiritual battle. Okay? And it's a battle for your mind. And I'm in this spiritual battle too, to help you. That is why, if they could get you to believe Neville Goddard and he teaching while he's still saying amen, thinking it meaning so be it, and you still have the religious mindset, and you still believe in some man in the sky, and you still believe in Jesus, and they make you believe that you could patch old wine, old cloth with new cloth, put old wine in new wine skin, and new wine in old wine skin, and so on. If they could do that, that's what they want to accomplish. It's as long as they have you with the narrative of something outside of yourself. It's as long as they keep in a narrative to think a certain way that you would be at the bottom. You would be the tail and not the head. You wouldn't be the place of the intelligence. They would want to always keep in the monkey mind. That's why they refer to you as a monkey. It all have to do with your psyche, my brothers and my sisters. Okay, they want to continue to build all of these resorts and employ your people because they know already how they have already educated you in school to be a fool, to be an employee, and to be a very obedient slave, and to believe that you have a big work and a prestigious work when you're working in the bank. You realize our people biggest ambition still is for the boys and the girls to work in a bank, and they call it a big work. You understand what I'm saying? A big work. But the biggest work is when you know how to work your mind. The biggest work is when you know how to do a work of transmutation, where you can transmute your desires into tangible physical reality, and you know consciously that you are using the transmutation of energy, because you're pure energy. And that energy is what I call consciousness. And that is what creates reality. In short, as a man thinks, so is he. So anyone who wants to teach you that philosophy, and you look at colonialization in the Caribbean, there's no way these men could be your teacher, or your mentor, or your saviors. There's no way you could listen to them. If you really study this thing, then Neville Goddard, hear me? Neville Goddard exposed his ancestors. Neville Goddard actually exposed by his teaching the white man, and show you how his consciousness is so devilish. His consciousness is so destructive. His consciousness is so built on such a lie and pretense. And I'm saying all of this, just to show you that you must understand, appreciate the law of difference or the law of opposite, to understand polarity that these people can't change. So don't try to change them. Be you, and don't try to play their game. That's all I'm saying. I want people to really understand what I'm trying to say, because that's why, like for example, just recently I saw a clip, okay, with the Prime Minister of Barbados, a woman named something, trying to remember her surname, okay. But this woman from Barbados is the Prime Minister, okay, some mayor, okay, and this white woman, who I think supposed to be a reporter or something, asked her I think it's a very stupid and out of place question concerning how to say, basically, I put it in my own words, that why these countries, that why they're not productive and the people are not productive, and so on, and like to say there's a lot of crime and all of these things, right? And so on, and they're not progressive. And then she went on to show her that how America and all of these other countries, how they build off of their blood and the sweat of the people in the Caribbean and black people in general, and so on. And how she have the audacity to say that, while she not saying the same thing to America and England and so on, and show her that there's crime and corruption in these same countries, and then she not saying all of that. You know what she turned around and said to Maya? That why is she angry? These people always think that you're angry when you speak the truth, because they cannot face the truth, and that's just their nature. That's why I tell you, I can't hate white people, and I never hate white people. I just understand their nature, who they are. That's it. So I can't laugh and talk and skin and grin with them. Oh, fuck, I just can't do it. You understand what I'm saying? If you really understand where I am, you understand? I can't be a friend, because I will confront you with certain things and ask you certain things, and you might like it. So that's why I can't be a friend. I can't hang with you, bro. Fuck, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much charity you get. I can't hang with you, bro. That's just me. That's just me. So, my brother, my sisters, I have to speak the truth. You understand? So this whole thing about never getting Abdullah, come on. They're giving you somebody who sell out. If Abdullah was a real man, there's a man who sell out. And if Abdullah is a real man, you understand, then I have that energy of Abdullah that don't sell out then. And how always it when I meet the earth, the great, when I face the great earthquake, okay, and the great vibration, and I experience the mighty rushing wind, and I see the flowing of the water, and the bridge that separate me from the man who was over the next side, and I was like a little boy again. And the man walked from the burning bush that doesn't consume and speak to me. Always he was a black man, just in African clothing, in a dashiki. Oh, yet never said the boy spoke and say, and God walk with them and say, and if God walk with them, where is he? And he say at thy side. You man look at Neville and laugh and say, mean to say Neville is God. He say, yes, in the act of awakening. So why be now? Say, two God then. Say a black God and a white God. Yet they give black people a white God to worship. Man, I cannot stay quiet when I see fake. I call fake fake. So when I see like people on the internet and they getting interview with white people and they knocking heads with the white people and so on, I have to question. You understand those kind of people. When I see they getting all kind of views on the internet and they're gonna shadow ban me and they're gonna turn around and say shadow ban is a myth. Because I see video IQ, they send me a thing, they saying that shadow ban is a myth and all of that. Okay, because one time I did join video IQ and all of that too, okay? They say shadow banning is a myth and all of that. I believe that they listen to me in secret places. Yeah, man, they listen to me in secret places. That's why Brian Scott come out and say some people saying that Abdullah never exists. So what you talk about? I the only man who says so, Brian Scott. Talk to me head on, man. Talk to me head on. Brian Scott and the many others. Yolaka Jr. and the others in them. And all who make all the videos are Neville Goddard. Talk to me, man. Man, look, everybody who teaching self-help, teaching manifestation, teaching all of these things, traveling all throughout America and so on, having all kind of seminars, doing this, doing that. They have a foundation and based on with Neville Goddard and Neville Goddard teachings and so on and all of that. But be truthful about his involvement with Rosicruian and Secret Brotherhood and all of that. Just be real. This is where all of these things come from. Okay? But those on the lower level only know about the metaphysical level, but never actually experience metaphysics itself as they themselves become from the physical into the metaphysical. In other words, like changing from mortal to immortality in what? A twinkling of an eye, the opening of an eye within. The eye that is within represents the sun that is within you. That's why I teach the inner sun science and technology. It's a technology that has been known to our ancestors from since the dawn of time. And they turn around and fool you and give you 7-day Adventists and make you talk about sun worshippers and this and that foolishness. Just this morning, I drove across an Adventist church there because they blocked the road. They're doing some work at the road. So I had to take they block off the road. So I had to take a different road. So I drive across the road with the Adventist church. And the Adventist church open right now because I want to believe it's a funeral. The Adventist church has a funeral. And those funerals are not free, okay? And these churches they build in the islands and so on, these white people are talking about, and they just fleecing the people, fleecing the sheep. 7-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, you name it, man, it's a sickening thing. And I'm not trying to change it. And I be stupid to try to change it. I be stupid to try to change the system. I'm not trying to change the system. I'm just trying to show people how much I understand the system. As I said, I be very stupid to hate on people based on the color of the skin. I don't hate. I get to understand you. You understand what I'm saying? So when I get to understand you, I know your nature can't change. So I can unite with you. I don't want an integration as with Martin Luther King and them was preaching. I don't want to go to the same school with you now, anything like that. And I don't want your education. And I don't want your church system. I don't want your religion. I don't want your white God. Don't tell me nothing about no white God. Don't tell me what your white God say. So that's why I have a middle finger for the preachers. And I have a middle finger for the politicians. So my brother, my sisters, this is what true freedom look like. Okay? So this whole never got an agenda. Okay? More and more after a while, man, you will see the defile so-called legacy, which Wayne Dyer build upon and help PBS over 60-something million erase for PBS. Come on, man, bro. We are wake up. We have to wake up. So check out you see how others move? Brian Scott have so much of views and subscribers, and I'm telling you, go check out that video there. And some of you might go over there and you might stay over there because if you love to manifest and you believe in technique and secret technique and this and that, and you don't understand that you use like a supercomputer and use a walking technological piece of equipment put together and you, if you understand all these things, meaning you and your ancestors known all these things and put them in symbol, and it would always be in symbol. That it would always be in symbol. Doesn't matter how much I speak and what I say. It will all be in symbol. That's why, as I said, in my country, the spiritual Baptists doing all the things. They just walk, they just do this, they just do that, they just dress us out the way they do all of that. And a symbol right along. But it's to help us to realize that we have always had a spiritual system before secular Christianity. We have always had a spiritual system before the colonizers. That's the whole entire message with all of these different practices we have, whether it's a voodoo, Orisha, you name it, Yoruba, you name it. All the different things concerning black people and their spirituality and so on. It is just to tell us that we have all our spiritual system and we continue to have a spiritual system. We continue to have a bloodline of enlightened, mystic, self-realized ones that would not be acknowledged by these people because that's the nature. It's just the nature. But you understand these people' nature. Why you gonna vex with them? So if you're a multi-millionaire and another man is a multi-millionaire and you black and he white, you're not gonna talk about race, you're gonna talk about money, you're gonna talk about business, nothing wrong with that, but at the back of your mind subconsciously. Come on. I mean, it's just that I just real. You mean it doesn't matter what someone do to me. I might forgive you, but I can't forget. I will never forget. Don't make anybody tell you you must forgive and forget. Don't make nobody fool you with that. So all I'm just saying, my enlightenment allow me to understand the nature of a people who is different to me. So I can understand why people will go into South Africa, okay, kill the tribal people, leaders, and so on, and take most of the land, understand, and then put them under apartheid, and then set up laws to imprison them like what they're doing to Malima for pelting off gunshot, and they're the ones who build the guns. It's just that I understand the nature of these kind of people. You understand? So I try to teach our people to understand the nature of these people. So when you understand the nature of these people, you don't hate them because you understand them. That's all. This is all this is all about. Okay, so I can read the comments. Okay, and then close this one off. Okay, I want to see what people been saying. Okay, so anyone who think, oh, you racist, he is that. Nah. I have better sense than that. Okay, I too awake for that, man. It's just that I cannot. There's no black man on this planet can tell me that he is enlightened, he's self-aware, he's really conscious, and he doesn't see the nature of the white man and the other races on this planet. Okay, I grew up in the Americas, right? So that's what I was talking about. And then I work at a resort called Bukomembe Resort. I even wrote a book called Bukomembe Resort and the Messenger. So I had very few experiences among these people. I went to Barbados in a bodybuilding show, a natural bodybuilding show. Meet a man I used to see in a magazine that claimed to be a natural bodybuilder. I used to think he was even freaking natural. But I've been out 100% natural. A guy named Jim Cardova. I don't even know if he's a true or what. I rushed to where the man was staying by the hotel there. Okay, was going for a meeting to greet the man. The man didn't refuse to shake my hand. A white woman was there with him and said, come on, man, the guy is just a fan. And I was so unaware. After he end up now and he shake my hand and think I hang with that guy, took pictures and all kind of thing with that guy. Hang with him, really hang with him. Yeah. You see? So my brother, my sisters just understand the nature. Understand they have a kind of nature. And you have to understand their nature. So when they come and they laugh and they skin and grin with you, don't make that trick you. When they come among you, talk about their missionary, and they come and talk about charity, but I think just to enslave you. When they come with a shot saying, last testament of Jesus, these mama and all of that, coming from you, don't bother with them. These people, yeah. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, Brian Scott saying that people who saying that Abdullah never exists is me. Call me out, Brian Scott. Okay? Those are some people saying that. And he's trying to prove Abdullah did exist. Okay? And if there's a man named Abdullah, then there's that state, there have to be a state of consciousness. Okay? And that state of consciousness, okay, why would he want to sell out to give Neville Goddard that and be part of some. And he was that, which means he was a Rosicruian too. I don't want to be a part of anything that's been started by no white man. Plain and straight. And don't be foolish enough to tell me about the internet and all of this thing. It wasn't started by no white man, you know. Because if you really understand the internet, you understand the internet taking place inside of you, you know. If you understand electricity, you understand that taking place inside of you, you know. You understand why they never tell you who put the filament inside of the bulb, in the light bulb. You realize all the great black inventors, why they never tell about these black great inventors. So please, don't talk shit with me. Okay? As much as speed going around talk about I show speed, you could never say nothing on behalf of a people being persecuted. Not him. He lose everything. I remember when I talk about Kaisin at all them, I tell all them they sell out. They have to do certain things to get views. I ain't doing nothing. I rather the shadow band men do whatever the hell they want to do. Okay? Someone say, I just moved into my new apartment and it's infested with roaches. What do I do? Spray them. Kill them. Kill the insects. Okay? And you talk about roaches. Roaches like to lurk in the dark. There are people on this planet that lurk in the dark like roaches. And when they turn on the light, they scatter. They scatter and hide when they turn on the light. Yeah. A light have been turned on inside of me. And whenever I turn on the light, I see all the cockroaches on this planet and they're running for hide. They're running for cover. But you have to crush the cockroaches. Okay, you spray them. Right now I spray them. With my mouth, my words, I spray them. Cockroaches. Go get some bacon or some bab and spray them. Oh my God. Oh my God. If I have a friend or relative, I'll never encourage my friend or relative in the Caribbean to go work at no resort. I no hotel, I no to be honest with you, no tourism industry and whatever shit they talk about. I would more encourage them to go and work the land. Go find a piece of land, work land, go burn a coal pit. Do coals. Okay. So but okay. This is me reaching out to everyone saying if you are really trying to understand the deeper mysteries behind what I'm teaching, go check out my book, The Black Mystic from Ethiopia. Okay, that book breaks it down on another level. Yeah. Okay, show you how to use reverse psychology. Okay. Someone else says witchcraft. I don't know what is witchcraft. I would like someone to tell me what is really witchcraft. Okay. Because if you're using money come from witchcraft based on what people term witchcraft. So please help me. The person who made that comment. I would like to know what the definition of witchcraft. And definitely know who's really a witch. Because to me, a witch is a wise person, a wise female. And a wizard is a wise man. So basically, I would consider myself to be a wizard as a wise man. Okay, I think people, they use words and language to bring fear on people and to make people stupid. Okay, they in so much a person would say repent and do not know repentance mean change your mind. So they're telling me I must change my mind and call on Jesus. Okay, and say and they talk about hellfire. Okay, is real. Now, the reason why that person know that hellfire is real because that person is in real hell right now. Okay, and they're feeling the fire of the banks and the loans and the credit union, and they being broke, and they trapped into a 9 to 5, and the mother was an idiot, the father was an idiot, and they bring forth an idiot. Okay, so he born in, okay, he born in hell, and he thinks that as long as you ain't think like him, you need to repent. Okay, but he do not know that repentance is basically you rearranging a shift in your mind. He doesn't really realize that. Okay, so You will always have these kind of people, and nothing is wrong with having these kind of people because we need balance. So we need Christians on the planet. We need Muslims on the planet. We need balance. Okay, so when I come out here and I speak, I am not saying that you shouldn't go to church and believe in what you want to believe in. Okay, anyone who listens to me teaching, I'm not saying that. You could do whatever you want to do. Okay, and everybody is important. The idiot is important to show those who are wise. You see, balance. That's what I said. That's what I'm saying. Every time I teach, I'm trying to get people to master the understanding of the law of opposite. The law of opposite. So I appreciate that you believing in Jesus. Okay? Because that what gives you some form of identity. It gives you a label. So you have to come back and label me. I have no label. Because I haven't taken any label. So if you call yourself a Christian, you call yourself a Muslim, is a label, give it yourself. Okay? Someone speaking facts, kid. Thank you very much. Someone say, whatever you believe to be true will be true in your walls. So if it takes your belief or non-belief to make something a fact, then who is true? God/creator are one, love to all. Okay? So basically he's saying there that all is mine. Okay? Everything is mental, everything is psychological, everything is about you. So someone, coming on a live like this, where I'm not believing in Jesus or embracing any Jesus or believing in any white God, okay, and you're gonna make a comment, okay, supporting your white God, that's a form of projection. You're trying to project yourself, your consciousness, your awareness to others, and you want to label them because they don't think like you, when everyone's supposed to think in terms of what makes sense to them. Okay, the story of Jesus and his birth doesn't make any sense to me because I experienced a birth from right here. I wrote a book called The Secret Vagina Mystery of the Virgin Birth. Anyone could go and get it. It's available on Amazon. Okay, and I've been recommending The Black Mystic from Ethiopia, Neville Goddard mentor. Okay, for any black person to read, to see where I'm using reverse psychology and to see how long it was, how long ago before I knew the things that I know now, that my spirit spoke to me concerning Neville Goddard and the game that they was playing. And it's just about parody. Okay? It's just about reverse psychology. Okay? Because if Neville Goddard gonna tell you, if you say Lord God and you think of something outside yourself, you're the wrong God. Who gave you that in the first place? Who beat that inside of you? Who put you under charmer to receive that? Who come with a Bible to enslave you? Who come and colonize you? Who lynch you? Who do book breaking on you? Who do all of these things? This is the devil coming and telling you, beware of the devil, when he's the devil himself. Oh my God. Yo, when I come to understand these people, I just realize, these people, the nature can't change the nature. They will all be the same. That's why I don't want no union. I don't want no relationship with no white woman, no Chinese woman. Everybody has their own nature. So if you're a black man and you can't hold on a black woman, something fucking wrong with you. If you're a black woman and you can't hold on a black man, something wrong with you. You've been bewitched. If you're a black woman and you have a problem with black man, there's something wrong with you. If you're a black man, you have a problem with black woman. You understand? You know, strong you have to be to really get your woman and put them in the rightful place, man. With all of this kind of university shit and fake education shit they like to talk about and think they're independent and all them bullshit there, nothing how to deal with them, bro. You can't be weak. Someone say, yes, everything is a distraction from doing the inner work. Yeah, and knowing that you are the true God. Even spiritual videos can be a distraction if you're not doing the inner work daily. Of course, there are distractions. As I always say, right now we're in a flood of information. They're flooding you with information, and you think there's no end. Oh, I know. Yeah, no. Now that you start to practice for yourself and get results for yourself. Okay, someone says, "Hey, hi, thanks for this information. I was curious as to why Abdullah so willingly shared such powerful information with a Caucasian and not his own people." That's a person who's thinking. That's a thinking person, not a person who just jump the bandwagon and somebody who, a lot of black people who jump on Neville and manifestation and all of these self-help teachers on the internet and the Abraham Hicks and all of these and the set and all of these kind of people and all of that, It reminds me of people who just jump on get rich scheme. Like they had a thing they name Creators Alliance. And a friend reached out and I tell my friend that is a scam and that is a pyramid scheme. And he laughed at me. And then within 2 weeks, boom. Someone says people mostly listen to the spiritual lectures in order to attain material things. And nothing wrong with that, but that's not the main aim. The main aim is peace within, and the rest will be added unto you. That is so true, okay? That is why, as I tell people, don't get chick with people selling you a lifestyle, like you like a junior and all of them with Neville Goddard and things, selling you a lifestyle and show you Lamborghini. I laugh. I have a laugh. That's why I tell you. And when you talk about these kind of people, right? People think, oh, they've been racist and all of that. All these people have to offer you this world, nothing else. It's just materialistic. These people, that's all they have to offer. But when it comes to peace, when it comes to some spiritual system or something to really bring into a place of peace and joy and happiness and thing, whereby all other things will be added and things, they can't really do it. And when you check out the secular Christianity that they want to, not want to, that they would have sold to our people for so many years, you realize stolen information. Stolen information. So you have to speak the truth, bro. I speak the truth. That's why, YouTube and thing would never want to embrace people like me. So my brother, my sister, whenever you see any black person on the internet and you see they getting views and then you see certain people knocking head with them, come on, man, they're using them. Just use. These people can't stand truth. They can't. They can't stand the truth. Someone say peace within to awaken the true Christ / God consciousness within you. Yeah. And you can't get God consciousness and you get consciousness of the devil. You can't get consciousness of higher self and your consciousness of your lower self. And you ain't see those who want to keep in your lower self. It's no way. Bro, I grew up in a country where it's predominantly black, so nobody don't think about race. Right? But when you wake up and then you start to see the thing playing, you see the thing clearly. I live in a country where people easily go work with those resorts. Okay? As a matter of fact, in the time of COVID, the government in my country was sending young men to go to, I think, America, Canada, to work on a marijuana field, cannabis field. While they was locking them up down here for cannabis, you know, the young men in my country went to prison for cannabis, weed. Yeah, they send them to work on plantation up there. So it's just understanding. Okay, someone say greeting, Black my guru, love how you keep it real. Thank you very much. I have to be real. Let just me be a mature self. That's what I tell you. I mean, I'm not gonna say, look, I would laugh and talk with anyone. Doesn't matter the color of skin. But deep in my subconscious, I have no trust. I don't want a friendship with you. I don't understand your nature. You understand what I'm saying? I just understand your nature, so I don't want no friendship or anything like that. You understand? Someone say, very enlightening information. Thank you very much. That's all I really basically saying. Come on, say, always those church folks talking about witchcraft, especially in the Caribbean. Yes, especially in the Caribbean. And up to now, nobody can give me, I would like for someone to give me a real proper definition of witchcraft. And I guarantee you, any definition they give me of witchcraft, it will point right back to the job they're doing and the money they're receiving, and they don't have to call money witchcraft. But none of these people ever say money come from the devil. No, none of them will ever say that money come from witchcraft. They will not say that because they're working for it. They labor their ass for it. They work for it. Because why? You know why they work so hard for it? Because they have no wisdom. Because when you seek after wisdom first, and money come a slave, you know. Money have to follow you. Money is a slave. But most people are slave to money. If I was a slave to money, when they reach out to me to join the secret society, I would have done join so long on YouTube to get views and fame and popularity to be like I show speed in him. But I would have been in the metaphysical realm, in the teaching realm. Somebody say anything not from the Lord is devilish always. And who is the Lord? Anything that is not from the Lord. Who is the Lord? That's something when people talking, I just laugh. Who is the Lord? Who the Lord you talking about? The only Lord I know is my consciousness, my awareness. Because if you don't have consciousness and awareness, you can't say Lord. Who you talking about? You really believe you have something outside of yourself? You really believe you have something higher than life? Definitely because definitely I'll come to a close with this video. But let me say this: you have to be stupid to believe you have anything outside of that is higher than life. It's not higher than life. There's nothing higher than life. Nothing higher than life. And the word devilish just means something that's more of a destructive. To me, devil, God, and so on, it's just the different aspect of your own self you're talking about. So if you can't look in the mirror and see the Lord, then you're mentally retarded or something. If you can't look in the mirror and see the devil, then you're mentally retarded. It's a mental sickness. So our people been infected. They've been injected from a very young age with a sickness, a mental sickness. And when people gather in these churches, they're feeding non-physical entities with the energy. That's why they play all of this music in church and all of the dancing thing. They're feeding off the energy. Like, for example, before I come to a close, the whole I show speed agenda, okay, and going around the Caribbean and so on, is to feed non-physical entities and all the people who rejoicing and partying and doing all of that. Yeah, that's why the food and all of these things, these are rituals. Why think they give this man one channel alone? You have over 15 million, another channel, how much millions? The fuck you want that, you get it. They're going to give you what you want. But remember your mortality. You have to remember that. You understand? You guard your soul. And your soul trap here, bro. I going wrong, and coming back, talking about the Lord, talking this, talking that. They're coming back all the time. So my brother, my sisters, this is to wake you up, man. Okay? Okay, before I come to a close here, I want to encourage you to check out my book, The Black Mystic from Ethiopia, Neville Goddard, Mentor, okay, and show you how to use reverse psychology in this world, to teach you how to win back your power, how to take back your power. Okay, and if you grow up in the islands, in the Caribbean, okay, you have to take back your power from these people who have been in the ruling class, okay, because you have to understand, okay, people could be ruling down to 3 and 4 and up down to the 5th generation, but there comes a time you could break the generation there, okay, and you could take your rightful place because you could break the generational curse that was on you too. So the more you break your generational curse, you're weakening their generation. That's why they don't like this kind of conversation. Because there are people in my country who do not even know which family running the biggest business in their own country. And the thing is, when you live in the Caribbean islands, okay, you never see the white people who own the businesses in the islands. You don't see them. You see the businesses, but you never know who own the businesses because they would have a man who joined the secret society, the so-called brotherhood, and they put you at the top. in the business. And then he now I report back to them and get all the money to them. They make sure they're well set up. They know what they're doing. Same thing they're doing with the church system too. And the secret brotherhood and those things too. So it's very hard for people to escape these things. So, my brother and my sisters, your family could be the next family. That could become a part of the ruling family in any country. Okay, if you learn to think for yourself and stop talking about the Lord and talk about God and some savior and some deliverer outside yourself. Stop being stupid and be real. Okay? So when people saying anything that come from the Lord is devilish, what we talking about? The Lord have to be a higher self. So anything that doesn't come from your conscious awareness, okay, it could be devilish to you, which means it could be destructive to you, which means you have to learn to believe in yourself. So you see, these people, a lot of people, they are speaking, but they do not understand the powerful language, and they do not understand the language that they are speaking. So, my brother and my sisters, okay, thank you all very much for your participation. Follow me on my next channel, whereby I'm going to do another live. My next channel is Black Mad Guru. Okay, I'll be speaking on meditation and visualization. Okay, and how it is important for you to overcome what you've been programmed with in terms of religion and how they're so different. Okay, so you can check me over there as I leave this live. Okay, just gonna take a little break and then I'll be on that other live, the Black Man Group. Follow me on my Black Man Group channel. Also support my books. Okay, as you can see, I'm not earning money from YouTube because of the shadow ban they have on me. Okay, so I don't really depend on them. But you can support me in whatever way you can. I have a PayPal. Okay, you can support me there if you feel free to do so. You can purchase my books and you can give them a rating too. Okay, so there's always a link that's down below. And for those of you who know about Neville Goddard and so on, get the book. Okay, the Black Minister from Ethiopia, Neville Goddard Mentor, and see how I switch things around and show you what Abdullah, okay, the character they make up, how any angle they go, they will be chopped. Okay, so if it's a makeup character, okay, it is gonna expose them still. If it was a real man, still exposing them. Okay, so it's all about exposing the colonizers and oppressors who want to always keep you in mental slavery. Okay, that's what my whole message is all about. Okay, it's not about attacking anything or saying that the teaching about manifesting is wrong. I'm not saying that. The things that Neville Goddard is speaking about manifesting and so on, they are true. Okay, and if you check out the Bible and you see it as a book of mind science and you use reverse psychology, you see how they use it to enslave your people. If you check out neuroscience and what scientists discovering and what they're talking about, you will realize that these people are actually exposing themselves. Every Caucasian person on the internet that is talking about consciousness, that is talking about awareness, that is talking about love and these things, they're exposing their nature and themselves. If you really get it, that's all I'm basically saying. So understand the nature of a people. That's all. Just like you understand the nature of a sheep, and you understand the nature of a goat, and you understand the nature of a donkey, you understand the nature of a horse, you understand the nature of a mango tree, you understand the nature of a pumpkin tree, you understand the nature of a peas, or a bean, you understand the nature of what they're bringing forth. And that's all. Simple as that. It's not no hate, nothing to do with it. It's just pure truth. Okay, and some people just can't handle the truth. Okay, so with that being said, my brother and my sisters, I want to thank you very much. I just want to say peace, love you all. Follow me on my next live, my Black Man Go channel. I'm out.